My 32F husband 33M is trying to save our marriage, but is it worth saving? I 32F have been married to my husband 33M for almost 11 years. We met 13 years ago and have been through so much together and have 2 amazing kids together, 6 female and 5 male. Around 2 years ago, my husband got a new position at his job that requires him to travel once or twice a month. At first it was hard for us all. Kids adjusting to him being gone, me doing all the home and childcare, and him traveling. We missed each other. As time went on, we found a groove that somewhat worked, but it never stopped being tough on me. I'd talk to him and he'd help with the kids when he got home, but I was kind of pushed to the background. I tried bringing it up at times, but it was brushed off. I always hated his job. Yes, it provides and we're blessed in many ways, but his job requires him to always be on his phone, and not for nothing, but it's not like they're curing cancer or anything. I asked him if he'd consider looking for a new job that would appreciate him and let him be more present at home, but he shot me down, in a condescending tone, saying we could live off my salary. I worked 2 days in a restaurant. I never brought it up again. As time went on, I got used to him being gone, not being present while he was home, and slowly my love started to change. I still love him, but I'm not sure I'm in love anymore. Last week, my husband found a screenshot of a photo of a man I kinda know on one of our devices. After confronting me about it, I find him cute, but nothing ever happened. We don't even talk. I confessed I was unhappy and have been a long time. He was shocked and heartbroken. I told him a lot of things that he never noticed and retold him things I've mentioned before. It was like a fire lit inside him. He's trying so hard to fix us. He doesn't go on his phone anymore. He's been helping me with the kids, barely letting me do anything, constantly praising me. If I go to sleep, he follows me and clings to me until he falls asleep. I tell him he's trying too hard and I need some space, but he's so afraid I'm gonna disappear and he can't help it. He stares at me while I'm sleeping. We've been having emotional talks every day and I'm exhausted. I don't know what to do anymore because I'm not grateful for these changes. I'm actually getting pissed off the more it continues. I told him I was going to talk to a therapist, but at the moment I need a break from all these emotional talks. Is there any advice on what I can do to help save my marriage, if it's worth saving at this point? It's understandable and normal to be angry when the other partner suddenly re-engages like that. But without a real concerted and permanent change in his behavior, he's likely to go back to normal habits. You both need therapy. You wouldn't be asking if you had already made up your mind, and if you're both willing to really work to make it turn around, the outcome could be beyond the wildest dreams. My wife and I had serious challenges, but we did find a way to make it through. The grass is only greener on the other side because they've looked after it. He hasn't looked after your relationship, so it has slowly withered. If no catastrophic event has taken place like an affair, then some therapy, counseling, and a bit of non-smoothering effort could take the relationship forward to a bright future. Good luck. So your husband found out you checking some dude's pics on your phone, and he's now actively doing all the things you were asking for because he doesn't want to lose you, yet this is upsetting you? Although he might be overbearing, he is trying. You did say you fell out of love with your husband, so it sounds like you are checked out of this marriage and your husband is too late trying to fix things. Reddit is a BJG advocator for divorce, FYI, in case your post gets picked up. These kinds of issues are better suited for the therapist you are gonna see. Maybe down the line you two can consider couples therapy. Love can be reignited and things can change if you and your husband put in the work. Uprooting your family over this is not worth it, emo. I think the reason why you feel frustrated with what he's doing is because of the fact he putting in all this effort now. That means that he could have done it before, and now it just feels like love bombing, and now you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. And you might also be feeling disappointed in the fact that only when he realized he's losing you that he wanted to change, and that if he didn't see that, he probably would have never changed. If he can make the changes now, he could have made them before but didn't think you were worth it then. Some part of you knows that, and I suspect that's where the anger comes from. I'm going to be honest here, the job market for the past few years is terrible, so if you're able to live comfortably, there are sacrifices to be made. I think this is important, because if he quit his job to find something else a few years ago even, would you resent him for being unemployed? Certainly he probably could have made more of an effort earlier on, but if you aren't making enough to pay for all of the expenses yourself, him maintaining gainful employment really isn't much of an option. I'd imagine that is a heavy weight to bear, just as you're bearing a heavy weight taking care of the kids and everything. Not sure if my wife cheated? 41M, 34F, 15-year relationship. So my wife recently had a hysterectomy due to cancer, quit her job, and started a new job as a mortuary technician. The new job requires some very long nights, which is understandable. I became uncomfortable when she would come home and tell me about her new assistant manager. She would tell me about all the interests she and this guy had in common, and about some of the conversations they had, or things that happened. Which was normal conversation, but for the first time something felt different. I know she liked this guy, but the way she talked about him made me feel uncomfortable. Felt like she liked him too much, I guess. Then one night she came home really late, and it woke me up. She came to bed, and we became intimate, but for some reason for the first time in our marriage I felt like she had cheated on me that night, again another first time feeling for me in our marriage. I pushed the thought away and tried not to think about it. Later that week, she tells me that this guy's girlfriend called her and asked her if she was sleeping with her boyfriend. My wife then explained to me how she convinced her that nothing was going on between them. But now I can't get it out of my head. I really think I was right that night and that she cheated on me. Seems like you should tell your wife you understand where his girlfriend is coming from. Ask your wife for that woman's number. If she won't give it to you, she cheated. If you're able to call her, you'll both be able to share your thoughts and put each other's mind at ease. Just talk to your wife. You're operating on feelings, no actual evidence. Either you trust her or you don't, but for the health of your marriage, talk to her. Like others have said, sounds like she a crush. Maybe it's mutual. Doesn't always equate to cheating. You either trust your spouse or you don't. You say late nights are normal. Sounds like she's had them since starting there. Has she been cheating since first meeting this person? That's not usually the way it works. From what you've said here, there is nothing. No red flags. You say, late nights, and then say they're understandable. Besides that, all you have to go on is a hunch. A gut feeling. That being said, it's something that should be discussed because it is an issue to you. And that should matter. Trust your gut, especially if there's cause for his girlfriend to reach out to your wife. Update me. Did you ask why she came home so late? Are you someone who's normally insecure? Has she ever cheated on you before, even if it was before you got married? We can only speculate with the information given. Is it normal not to want to cohabitate in middle age, 48M and 46F? My partner and I are both in our mid-40s, I'm in my late 40s, truth to be told. Both of us have bad relationships in our past. We've been together for about 6 years. In my younger years, I would have wanted us living together and sharing space. But now, neither of us seems particularly interested in moving in with the other. We'd like to live close together. But neither one of us is particularly interested in sharing space on a permanent basis. Does this seem normal to folks? Especially for couples in middle age or older? Edit. Thanks for the feedback, guys. This is one of those situations where I sort of wondered about my own thought processes. Interestingly, my partner and I have been talking about moving closer together, but not in the same residence. And given both of our houses, I think that if we cohabitated, unless we got a house big enough where we could each have a wing to ourselves, we would get on each other's nerves in short order. I think you have a great setup. Why change it if you're both happy? Entirely normal. You can have very sincere and tender feelings for someone, without wanting them in your face the 24th of July 365. Especially when you're older and you know what you want. 44 and divorced, and the only reason cohabitating sounds nice is because someone else could help with paying these bills. I'm too used to being on my own. I don't think I could do it again. What's normal as you get older is caring less about what other people do and choosing to do what makes you feel happy and comfortable. If neither of you feel pressed to live together, don't. You're living the dream if you ask me, mid-40s female. Totally normal and the basis for a happy long-term relationship since your arrangement makes you both happy. That's all that matters. My 43 female husband, 45 male, has gotten really weird about his phone. Is it something to worry about? My husband and I have been married 17 years and have 4 kids. Over the last few years he's gotten really into his phone, like hours on end without talking to anyone, just scrolling, I guess. Our sex life has really fallen off. Today he asked me for some details about an event we were attending tomorrow. I grabbed his phone to pull up something on Instagram that had all the details and he freaked out, grabbed the phone away and wouldn't say why. It felt abrupt and suspicious. Later he said it was because he was embarrassed about what would be in his search feed. This makes no sense in that previously we've been super open about sexual things and he knows I don't care about pornography. What is going on here? My ex was like this. Turns out he was messaging other women and that's why he was so protective of his phone all of a sudden. Sex drop-off plus new secrecy strongly implies cheating. Not 100%, but probable. You know what you need to do. Update us when you get the chance. You need to get your hands on his phone. Yes, a drop-off in sex and freaking out about you touching his phone means he's doing stuff you would not approve of, with other people. Well, see if you can provide him the safe space to tell you about what is embarrassing. Make sure he knows you can't promise you won't have feelings, but they are yours to manage, and it is better to disclose an embarrassing thing than to be secretive. One breeds connection, the other mistrust. See if it's earnest before jumping to the scary thoughts. If you know the password, I wouldn't worry because he knows you can see what he's up to. Talk to him that it made you uncomfortable how he reacted and ask why. See how nervous he gets. If this becomes too much, I know I'll get downvoted for suggesting this. But investigate, it's your life, your health, everything. You deserve to live a truthful life and not have to worry about STDs, being cheated on, etc. Remember, we do not consent to betrayal.